sure you can tell it's a different one today, man. We're just gonna have a ball. We're gonna have it differently. A very warm welcome to the Gold Mine Show. As always, what a joy it is just to bring this show to you, just to keep inspiring you and to remind you that there is greatness on the inside of every single one of us, no matter what your journey has been. As you will hear today, we have an amazing guest who has life dealt with them, well, in a significant way, but you know what? We're just gonna get a learn how they were able to raise them up, man. Kairetu Jenny is an amazing TikToker. She's an amazing influencer, and she's an amazing lady who has just been able to build herself all the way up to where you're just gonna hear it today. And my friend, I wanna let you know, in case you think life has dealt you a blow, well, you cannot quit just yet, man. Before you quit, you need to listen to this conversation. Most likely it's gonna inspire you and it's gonna remind you that there is greatness on the inside of you, man. Want to invite you to follow us on the Gold Mine Show on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, and everywhere else, man. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and let's keep building a great gold mine community that believes in our collective greatness, my friend. And right about now, I want to bring my friend, man. She's a taxi driver. That's why I enjoyed that ride, and I must just tell you, man, it was an amazing, amazing ride. And therefore, man, ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you one and only Kairetu Jenny.
Hi, Jenny. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Oh, man, I absolutely enjoyed that ride, man.
Thank you.
Your hands are strong hands, a good set of hands, man.
I can say it's been years of being on the road, so I can say I'm good at it by now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Man, brilliant stuff, man, and thank you for coming on the Gold Mine Show.
Thank you for having me.
So happy to have you on board, man.
Thank you so much.
Lots of stories to talk about.
A lot of stories, definitely.
I must say, the one of the TikTok shots that really intrigued me is when you say 2 years ago, all you had to your name were your clothes.
Mm-hmm.
That's about all you had.
Yeah, that's all I had then.
Today you own a fleet.
Thank
Running
God
a
for
fleet, man. Well, folks,
It's
we're
a
going to
journey.
hear that journey, man. Kairetu Jenny's on set. You can't afford to go nowhere, man. Join us and tell a friend to tell a friend. Come on over, man. Let's do this. Yep, Karibu, Kairetu. Karibu, man.
Thank you so much, Dennis.
Good to have you, man.
Thank you for having me. I was looking forward to this moment, actually.
Man, I have absolutely looked forward to this, man.
Thank you for having
I'm so
me.
glad finally get to have you, man.
Finally!
We talked about these a couple of months ago, actually.
It's been years, man, since we last planned for this
Thank you for the
interview.
holler, man. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome.
We needed to get it going. And you know, at the beginning of the show, I was just saying, I got really intrigued by this TikTok thing you released.
Okay.
2 years ago, that's a short while ago. It's not too long ago, man. When you said all you had to your name were your clothes.
Clothes, yeah.
Well, walk us back to that moment, because I just want to get back to that zone. Yeah.
Well, 2 years ago is when I started life
Right.
afresh.
Right.
I had been married for quite some time, 8 years, I think. But it's when now I began life on my own. So I had to figure out where to start. And I had to figure out how to go on from that point forward. There was definitely a lot of emptiness and confusion in between. But 2 years later, here I am.
See, when you say had to start afresh, afresh.
Yeah.
Speak a bit into that. What do you mean start afresh?
Well, I just left my marriage with my clothes. That's all I had.
After 8 years.
After 8 years. I didn't have a house. I just had a makeshift job, just something to push me by,
Right.
but not enough to cater for me moving out, buying stuff and everything. So I had to be hosted by a friend or two before I stabilized and got back on my feet. So it was 6 months of being hosted by friends. And when I was eventually, moving out on my own, I was at a point where I was even more stranded because I had just lost that job. I'd lost the savings that I had for that job, and I had to move out.
So literally, you're starting afresh.
Yes.
I'm going to go back to the marriage in just a moment.
Yeah.
So on this one day, you wake up, you no longer have a husband, you are not with your children, you are not in the familiar space called home, but you have a world to face.
Yes. Just a girl with dreams and a vision, and definitely a lot of back and forth in terms of being skeptical in what I want to do with my life. But I had to do it, and no one was going to do it other than myself.
Meaning, at the when your marriage broke, it was you to leave.
Yes.
You chose to leave. You agreed to leave.
We agreed. I leave.
So you had a conversation about
Yes,
this.
yes, yes.
And both of you agreed it was you to leave.
Yes.
Left with your children.
No. We came to this mutual agreement because then I was not that stable.
Right.
And my baby daddy was at a point where he's stable. He was like, I don't want you to go out there and the kids go through that whole phase. You let me just stay with the kids.
Right.
As you figure your stuff out,
Right.
we're not going to have issues co-parenting.
Right.
And it's been like that.
Right.
So I would say at least he gave me some space to be able to stabilize on my own as I figure my life out and myself out. Yeah.
So effectively, I mean, I tell us you're a mommy.
I am a mom of two.
Mom of two. How old are
Yes.
your children?
9 and 5.
9 and 5.
Yeah.
So by the time, and sorry, but let's start there. You see, there are many that are in marriages probably that don't work.
Yes.
But scared to step out. And sometimes staying within environments that are really rather difficult.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, what is this that for you led you to the point that says, I'm not going to stay in anymore? I mean, it's not working, I've got to go.
Yeah. I would say it would have to do more with my mental health.
Yep.
I felt like I was losing myself and not staying true to my cause. I had forgotten the person that I was, and I had this constant battle of who am I becoming? Is this what I want to continue doing for the rest of my life? I just needed to look for a purpose for myself. So I would say I was just at a point where my mental health was not at a stable place, and I needed to do something about it before I lost my mind.
You almost felt like you're losing your mind.
Yes.
What in your marriage, and allow me just to get a bit personal,
Yeah.
what is this in your marriage that got you to get your mental state becoming difficult? What was this? Speak a bit about your marriage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Had drifted from the things I used to do, the things I used to love doing. I was not working. I was at a state of confusion, and I felt this is not the journey I know, And I needed to find myself. I needed to do something for myself to see that I've at least, can relate something or call something that on my own, not just a mother, not just a wife. So it's something I had battled with for a long time, and I felt if I needed to take that step, I needed to just be bold and move out and do it. Yeah.
And so you got to that point.
Yeah, I got to that point.
After 8 years, 8 years is not a short space of time.
It's not a short space
So
of
it must
time.
be something grand for you just to say, man, I'm willing to work out of the last 8 years investment into this marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say it involved a lot of risks, definitely. It needed me to be bold. But a girl had to do what she had to do to stay true to her cause. Because there are so many things when I was married. I was a housewife then.
Right.
There are so many things I wanted to do. There are so many, dreams I wanted to achieve. And I felt if I wanted to take that step, I needed to step out and do it. Yeah.
And it was not going to be possible to chase those dreams within the marriage.
No.
It was not going to be possible.
It was not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this one morning you wake up and you find it doesn't look like yesterday. I'm on my own, and I've got life to face.
Yeah.
And all I have is my clothes. Then what happens?
I just looked at my contact list.
Right.
I was trying to see if there's a friend who can host me before I get my stuff together. I remember going through my contact list, looking at the friends that I can call, and I called this particular one, and I was like, you know what? She has hit the phone. I need you to host me for quite some time before I stabilize. So are you up to it? She was like, yes, just come. So I moved in with my friend for 3 months. But due to some unavoidable circumstances, I had to move out. Not that we had some altercations or anything, but I had to look for another place.
Right.
And another friend of mine also hosted me for another 3 months. So it was a total of 6 months being hosted by friends.
At this time, have you started working? Has something come through?
The first time I moved out, I had just gotten this call center job. It was not enough to, start. It was not enough for me to start life.
Right.
It was just enough for me to keep me going, just cater for...
It's bus fare to go to work and
Exactly, but not moving out,
Right.
not being able to buy stuff for the house.
Right.
So I was just there, and often or not, it was during that COVID period, and we would get this scare that the campaign we were working on was not doing so well.
Right.
So people get on, people were constantly getting fired.
Right.
So I was always on the edge of losing this.
Not sure whether you're the next to be taken out.
Exactly.
Yes. Right.
And 3 months later into it, the fears were confirmed. I lost the job.
You lost. Oh my goodness.
I lost the job. And
so this is almost like double tragedy. 3 months ago, I lost my marriage. 3 months later,
yes.
I'm losing the only job I have.
And it's about to get worse because once I lost the job, I tried to look for something else to do.
Right.
And I just couldn't. So it got to a point where I was a bit desperate to just find something to do, to just keep me going. And there was this rumor going on about Amazon Web Worker where you were supposed to put in some money and get some more money in return.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? Let me just risk it.
Right.
Let me just put in some savings, give it maybe a week or 2 or 3.
See whether it grows.
It grows, and then, I can just have my stuff. But a day to me withdrawing, the whole thing collapsed.
Oh, no.
And I'm telling you, when it comes to these pyramid schemes, they're so addictive. You just want to keep putting more so that you can get more in return.
And you're already at a point of desperation. Anything that can grow it.
Anything that can grow it, I'm game.
It looks attractive.
Oh my God. I had already, written down of all the things that I'm supposed to do right after I get that money.
Right.
So I had this life planned of what I'm supposed to do next after I get, my big share of the money that I had invested.
Because it's going to grow overnight.
Yes.
And it's going to become this big thing.
Yes. So a day to my withdrawal,
oh no,
everything collapsed. Wait, Dennis.
Oh, no, I can't get worse than
gets
that.
worse.
Is this within the first 3 months still?
The other 3 months when I was being
the second phase
second phase of the 3 months. So I remember that night because I lost my mind. I was not functioning. People were just talking to me. I was not myself. I remember stepping out of the house, just looking at the road, and I contemplated suicide because I was like, honestly, where do I begin from here?
It's just getting dark.
It keeps getting darker and darker. I have not even the slightest bit of hope of what I'm supposed to do next. And I remember that night.
And your savings are gone.
My savings are gone. I have no work. And that night, my friend called me aside and she was like, you know what, Jenny, I love you, but it's about time. You got to look for a place to live.
Oh, man. It's the end of the season of me hosting you.
Yes. But I understood. I didn't take that as on a bad note, because at the end of the day I need to give them the one of the house some space.
But Jenny, it's always a two sides to it. Yes, I understand, but I'm in need.
I'm in need.
So I'm trying to really understand. Yes, I do, but I'm still in need.
So at that point, Dennis, I won't lie to you. I just saw a dark cloud. I didn't know the way forward. I was like, you know what? Just give me some time to be able to figure my stuff together and see the way forward. So what do? I download Tinder. I was just looking for distraction.
But before then, you almost felt like,
yes,
you can't hit me, I go.
So I joined Tinder looking for distraction, to just go on dates with random people, just get my mind off it, because I had been indoors for the longest time. And the first person I matched with, we planned a date 2 days later. So when I went to meet them, we had this conversation where he asked what I've been doing. I chochad. I chochad a good one. You know, I've been doing this social media, digital marketing. I've been like, you know, a PA to this influencer, nini. You know, I'm not going to show you my life is pathetic. So he's like, wait a minute. My company has been looking for such a person.
All right.
So just come, present yourself, your nini to the board,
Right.
and we are going to see whether we are going to consider you.
Right.
So that day, I went and started doing my research.
Right.
Everything matters, digital marketing,
Right.
everything.
Right.
And when I went to see the board, I nailed it. I don't know how.
But was it true you'd been doing digital marketing
Yes,
stuff?
I was. For quite some time, I was aware of a thing or two.
Yeah.
And there was this influencer called Rosina Sharon.
Right.
I was doing something for her
Right.
in regards to digital marketing.
Right.
So I was not entirely blind
Right.
to the whole process.
You had a bit of experience.
I had a bit of experience.
Right.
So when I went and presented it, the board was like, okay,
You got it.
start. You can start.
Yep.
That is how
Finally, something comes through.
something comes through.
But this has been very difficult 6 months.
Yes.
So they tell you we can start.
Yes. So I told my friend, just give me a few, at least the month, to just, you know, get my stuff together. I get my first payment and
Right.
be able to move out.
Right.
Yeah. So that's how I was.
So your
able
friend
to,
agreed to do
yes,
that?
Yes. Yes.
So they give you one more
yes,
month?
Yes. They
All
gave me
right.
1 more month.
All
I was
right.
able to move out.
Right.
And I remember my house was just empty, sitting on the
Starting from
floor. You know, my kids used to come over with, I have nothing, Dennis.
Wow.
But you know what? I remember my kids telling me, Mom, it doesn't matter where you live, provided we are spending time together. That's all that
That's all that matters.
All that matters. I shed tears. So with time, I was able to, you know, slowly buy stuff, one thing after the other, and it got to a point where there was some time I used to get in between, and I was like, you know what? I had tried these online apps when I was married. I didn't do it for quite some time, but I was like, you know what? Maybe I should look for a car to work with and multitask. Do digital marketing, because most of the time everything was just maybe online or on the phone. I could multitask. I was just trying to see something I could multitask with.
But you know, even before you go further than that, I mean, I just want to find out the mindset that puts you together when everything seems to be going south. And not only seems to be going south, is actually going south. So this is you on one day, married, running your home.
Yeah.
3 months later, I mean, one day, nothing.
Yeah.
3 months later, your host says, unfortunately, your job is gone.
Yeah.
You get into a pyramid scheme. Your money is
Savings,
gone.
yeah.
Your savings is gone.
Yeah.
And just around when it's all going, your next host is also saying, it's time for you to
It's
move
about
on.
time, yeah.
How did you hold all of this together? And I ask that because sometimes we sit in positions that we don't like for fear of the inability to handle that kind of a phase that you
Yeah.
went through.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, how did you hold this together, man?
I won't lie to you. Inside, I was messed up. Big
Completely.
time. But I told myself, if I don't do this, if I don't, I would, whatever it is that I did then, I would do it scared. Messed up inside, but I'm the only person who would have just done it. No one else would have just come out from outside to do it. So I had to gather the latest strength I had inside me to keep pushing.
But you know, sometimes, Kairetu, you push, and the outcome of pushing, sometimes pushing looked like getting into a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
The outcome of that pushing was a complete loss of your savings.
Yeah.
Where do you begin from there? What do you fall back on? I mean, sometimes you even get to question the quality of your own decisions.
I won't lie to you, there is a period where I felt I was not myself. I was just a person breathing, but not operating as me. And I remember, even when, I used to see families, I didn't want to see families or people in love walking because it would remind me of the things I've been through. I was like an empty shell inside, but I had to keep on moving.
Sometimes, Kairetu, and shortly we'll move on, but sometimes you listen to ladies, and sometimes their biggest sense of identity is association, is belonging.
Mm-hmm.
This has gone.
Yeah.
And as soon as your marriage crumbles, the whole estate begins to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Your own friends begin to talk.
Yeah.
And certainly not in a positive way.
Yeah.
And shortly thereafter, after you've made the decision to move on, then things go further down.
Yeah.
And really that's a question I'm asking, man. How do you move on? And where do you get the strength to move on? And when one decision after the other looks like was not even a good decision?
On a regular, I would call my folks, talk to them, and they'll be like, we know the kind of person you are. You know how your childhood has been, because I've gone through another whole challenging experience in my childhood, and we see you as a strong being. You just have to be strong.
That's your folks now.
That's my folks. So yeah, definitely I used to make some calls to just get something to get me going. And maybe a few friends who were in support. That's how I sailed through that tough time.
Some circle
and my
of support.
kids as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So they say to you, Mom, it doesn't matter what it looks like, as long as we've got you.
Because when it was my turn to pick the kids, when I was being hosted by my friend, I used to bring my kids to my friend's place, and they would be like, you don't have to even feel ashamed that this is where you are right now, provided we're spending time with you. That's all that matters.
Good.
It doesn't matter where. My elder kid, she speaks to me as though we are sisters. We are very close.
Right.
And she didn't know then she's the strength I needed at that time.
She became every source of strength that you required at the time.
Exactly.
And so for them, as long as we are with you.
Yes.
Doesn't matter where.
Doesn't matter where. We are comfortable, we are fine, we are going to adjust.
And Kairetu, you do this month on month on month. That's about 6 months.
Yeah.
Seeing your kids at a different place. Must have been tough.
It was hella tough. It was hella tough. But giving up was not an option. As much as I didn't know what to do next, it was not an option. I had to keep going.
You had to gather every ounce of strength you had. Must have made those moments with your daughters, wherever it was, very special.
And trust me, initially, I was at a place where I was able to take them out, just spend some time outdoor. But at this period, there's nothing much we would have done other than just remain indoors, talk, do whatever we need to do. And they adjusted. In fact, I've never seen them happier than that period.
They flowed with where you are.
Yes, exactly.
This is where we are. We adjust for where we are.
Yeah. And as much as we were not together with the baby daddy, he used to also, call me, be like, you know what, you're a strong woman, you can do it. This is not the end of the road. You can do it.
So he also would call to encourage you.
He would call me to encourage me.
That's interesting. That's interesting, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what it is like for that moment of separation when it's not the mother going away with the children, when it is the mother who has to make time as and when to go and see this child. I wonder what that must have been like.
Trust me,
for a mother.
Dennis, I was harshly judged by the society. They were not in my shoes. They could not understand why I had to leave my kids with the dad to try and stabilize. But they were not in my shoes, I think the society has this mind and mentality that it's the woman who's supposed to move out with the kids. But we are living in different times. The dad is okay with it. I'm okay with it. We've never had issues, you know. He told me, whenever you want to see the kids, whenever you want to take them, we'll never have issues. But I was judgely hushed by the society. Look at this woman, you know. She must have been the problem. How can such a woman just leave the kids behind? But how was I supposed to go through this phase with my kids, torture them, put them through ups and downs, when they have a stable dad who is willing to come through, who is not afraid to be responsible for them? I just shut down that ear to just listen to the society and dictatorship of what they have to say, and you know, I just had to do that. So for the longest time, I had shut down from my surroundings. I would not go for family functions. I would not show up for anything. There's some friends, I lost friends because they, you know, we used to relate on the grounds that we are married women. So I had to come to terms with losing some friends because of losing my status as someone's wife. And I came to terms with it, and I was at peace with it.
I would imagine it must have been difficult in the beginning.
It was, but I had to develop a thick skin.
Right.
I had to.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to be tough.
Right.
And sail through, because you're the only person who understands where the shoe.
Only you is walking in your own shoes.
Yes.
And at some point you had just to walk your journey.
My way.
Your way. Not their way.
Not their way. Jenny's way.
So even getting to family functions became difficult for you to do.
I could not show up because I was not ready to have that conversation.
Yep.
Where's your husband? Where are your kids?
Why did
what
you come
happened
alone?
to your marriage?
Right.
What? Oh my God, I did not want to have any of that conversation. So for a period of like a year, I was just missing. Absent.
So how did you keep together within that year? Because then again, isolation sometimes makes it even more difficult.
Yeah.
So how did you go through? And what kept you going through those moments?
I just kept people who are close. Decided to focus on what's important. Try to draft my life and just create a vision for what I want to do in the next few years. That's what kept me going. Small circle, but definitely it came in handy.
Was your small circle brand new circle, or is it just the remnants of who was left?
It was a mixture of
both.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah. New, existing, and family.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And here you are.
And here I am.
Telling the story.
Having
gone through with it.
Yeah.
At least today you can smile.
Oh, I smile because I know these things are just temporary.
Right.
Situations are just temporary.
Right.
We sail through it.
Yep. You know, sometimes the question becomes, what keeps you through a dark season? And how do you navigate through dark moments? Because and that was one of us. And a really tough one for that matter.
Yeah. Just staying true to your cause, keeping those people who are close to you close, and not minding, to just cry your heart out whenever you feel like. I don't put feelings inside. Dennis, I'm telling you, even if I'm on the road and I feel like I need to cry to just feel better, I'll cry. Not feeling shame about it. Right. I don't care what people think of me.
Right.
No.
You express it the way you feel it.
I remember the number of times I cried when I was on the road. In a matatu, in the supermarket. People would look at me, oh, she's such a freak. But I need to do it. I needed to do it.
Right.
To just get me going.
Yep.
Yeah.
So here we are, man. I mean, that's quite something. So here we are. You get this job, digital marketing.
Yeah.
Tell us, how does that go, and pick it up from there?
Yeah. So a few months into it, I realized I had some time to myself where I could do something extra.
Right.
And I was trying to look something that would blend in with what I'm doing currently.
Right.
And Dennis, I've always had a passion for driving. Driving for me is therapeutic. And I've always been that person who family calls. Jenny, we are going to a certain place. Come and take us, be our driver.
Right.
And I was doing it wholeheartedly.
You love driving.
I love driving, Dennis. Even when I'm going through, it's only that I didn't have a car then.
Yeah.
But if I did,
Yep.
I would just be fueling my car and just driving.
It's therapy for you.
It's therapy for me.
Therapy.
We used to fight
Yes.
with my husband then
Right.
on who is supposed to drive.
Because he wants to drive
He
you.
wants to drive, I want to drive. That's how much I love driving.
Whoa.
So I figured maybe I should do something that is along
That
that line.
path.
Yes, because I had tried it before, I loved it, but I didn't get to do it for quite some time.
Yep.
And I was like, let me just look for a car to work with
Right.
for the meantime and see whether I can be able to combine digital marketing
Yep.
and online app driving.
So it's a
part-time.
plus to identify what your passions are.
Trust me. Because despite the challenges, as long as you're passionate about something,
Right.
quitting is not an option.
Right.
Because you love what you're doing.
It's almost an extension of who you are.
Yeah. When challenges come, you always try to find ways to navigate through those challenges, not quitting.
Right.
But if you're doing something that is not here,
Yep.
chances are you're going to quit.
Because it's a whole lot difficult.
Yes.
That's an important point. That's an important point.
Yeah.
Because then something you love to do, you will navigate to find how to
Yes.
resolve what the challenges
You're
are.
always going to look for solutions.
Because then it's something you like
You
anyway.
something you love.
Because for you now, this is therapy. All right.
So I looked for a vehicle to work with. My cousin was buying a Swift,
Right.
Suzuki Swift,
Right.
and I talked her into it, and she was like, you know what? Let me give you the car, see how it turns out, and then we'll see the way forward. So I got the car. So I was doing digital marketing
Right.
up to a certain time, and then getting into online app driving.
Right.
But with time, I realized I was paying more attention
To what
the
you love.
driving thing.
Yes.
But 6 months down the line, the company I was working for, it became big, and they had to outsource like a bigger digital marketing firm.
Right.
So they called me and they told me they just want to make me an ad hoc, not get rid of me entirely, but
Right.
maybe once in a while,
Yep.
they want me to be doing jobs for them. And I was
Right.
like, okay,
Right.
now it's time to fully focus.
So it also frees you up a bit.
Yes.
To do this other thing.
Yeah, so it's
Right.
now time to fully focus on this online apps thing.
Right. Right.
But just when I was
These are your Ubers and little cabs and all.
Yes.
Right.
But
right.
that's when I had just lost this job and decided to fully focus on this. My cousin is like, Jenny.
Oh no.
I
I hope it's not what you're about. It's
Yes. We need to be giving me some more money. Based on what you've been giving me, you need to add, some certain amount. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to make it because it's going to be my full-time thing.
right.
And I don't want, at the end of the day, to be working for just the car and the owner of the car.
Yep.
And I'm
have
left with
for
nothing.
myself. Right.
So I called my mom. There is some land I had. Some
And this time now you already moved on your own.
Yes,
so
yes,
you have
yes, yes,
bills
yes.
to pay.
Yes, I have bills to pay.
Right.
So I called my folks and told them, there's this land you gave me. And I want to make good use of it because I don't use it. It's just there. I can't build my house there. I cannot use it for business. Let me just sell this piece of land and get my own car.
Right.
So are you okay with it? So they asked me, are you willing to take that risk? I was okay. Yes. Let me just do it.
Right.
So I sold the land and I bought my first car. The same exact car that I used to work with
The same
initially.
Suzuki.
Because I loved it.
Right.
So that's how I got my first car. Worked with it for some time, but then these online apps have become challenging.
You sold your inheritance.
Yes.
To buy the car.
To buy
In
the car
effect.
and start my own business as an online cab driver.
Online lady cab
Lady cab driver. Yes.
Wow.
I told you
this was
then,
serious,
I've
man. The
always
driving
been-
person was quite something.
I've always been a risk taker. Definitely, I got so many calls of, Jenny, I don't think you're making the right decision.
Right.
But I was like, you know what? I'm decided.
Yep.
I've lost money before.
Right.
I've gotten out of that situation.
Right.
I'm a risk taker in general.
This is me.
This is me. I have to do it.
And I'm going all the way.
Yes. Fully in.
So you bought your car?
I bought my car.
Registered it up?
Registered it up, and a few months into it, there was definitely some challenges because the rates, compared to how the rates were before and how the rates are now, totally different. The fuel prices keep going up, crazy discounts, commissions, dramas, whatever. I was stranded for quite some time because I was asking myself, when are these problems going to come to an end?
Because you've just come from one into the next.
Yes, I just want to live a place, a life where, okay, as much as I'm facing challenges, I'm able to, overcome them and at least get something nice, out of it.
Right.
So,
or at least have a breather. And enjoy some space or something. Yeah. Right.
But still in that process, I had a TikTok account.
Right.
I had gained a huge following, just let's say 40,000, because I was doing comedy and everything. But I was like, at a point where I had not established a niche. I just wanted to do something different, something that people would refer. If I want to watch a certain kind of content, this is the person I want to go to.
Right. Right.
So for the longest time, I struggled with establishing a niche for myself as a content creator for my TikTok platform.
Right.
And I was like, wait, I've not seen anyone giving stories of what they go through on a daily basis as an online cab driver. Dennis, I used to go through drama daily.
It must, and most likely accelerated because you're even a lady.
Yes. Drama on a daily. And I was like, you know what? I need to share these stories with someone.
Right.
So I did my first video.
As an Uber driver now.
Yes. So I gave my first story. It went viral.
Do you remember what the story was about?
Yeah, it was about how a cop chased me with a motorbike. They saw me U-turning, and I didn't know you're not supposed to U-turn at that place.
So wrong U-turn.
Damn.
Yep.
I looked around. I saw they didn't have the vehicle, the police vehicle, and they didn't have that motorbike. And I was like, you know what? How is it going to get me?
Right.
They don't have the motorbike. They don't have the vehicle. It's a good chance for me to
hit the U-turn and go.
So when I hit the U-turn, the cop simamishad me. As he was trying to open the car, I just veered off.
You revved off.
I was like, ah! I remember the cop. I was like, is that a chick who just got away? He was like, ah!
And he's already at the door.
Yes.
Yes.
So unluckily, there was a motorbike passing by, just this Kawa motorbike.
Right.
So he called the motorbike and told the guy, chase your gari.
Yeah.
Sasa mimi, nimbio, naangalia nyuma, naangalia kwa side mirror. I mean, kwa rear mirror.
Yeah.
I can see the cop is coming.
Right.
Mimi nimeeka accelerator,
tupelekane.
Because nilikuwa najua huyo akinishika sasa. There's no way nitajitoa kwa hii situation.
Yani umehepa kako kwa mlango.
Yeah. But sasa unfortunately, nikapatana na traffic.
Oh no.
Ay.
You couldn't go further than that.
The drama. That guy was pissed.
So he caught up.
He caught up with me. Akakuja mbele, akasimama hivi. Akaniambia, hakuna mahali unaenda. You're not going anywhere. Hapo madam, shuka. So I was like, damn.
End of the road. End of the road.
So nimeshuka.
Umenyenyekea tu.
Ati amwone, hata huwezi sema ni wewe mwenye umetoroka umenyenyekea.
Tales of a cab driver.
So, I really tried to talk to him, but he was pissed.
I can imagine.
We spent like 30 minutes with the guy trying to tell me nakupeleka police station, hakuna kitu nasikiza, hebu kwanza lipa huyo mtu wa motorbike. How can you embarrass me?
That cost is on you.
Yes, how can you embarrass me mbele ya watu hivyo? So I'm just there, mkupa.
Ulifikiria unaweza enda sana.
I was like, it's human, so niliona nitaingia kwa shida nini.
Yeah.
But
Kiswahili mingi.
Alinisamehe.
Oh, he did?
He did, eventually.
So how did you convince him to forgive you?
Nilinyenyekea. I was like, I'm so sorry. And I'm sorry I've embarrassed you. But it's only human, kuona uko kwa shida, utake tu kutoroka. Because nilikuwa najua hapa, nitakohoa a good one.
Boss, mimi sikwezi. Hiyo pesa sina.
Sasa si atasema sasa ndio utakoa zaidi ya makosa ya kwanza na kuni-embarrass.
Do you know what he did? He actually laughed.
Alicheka tu.
Wewe, by the way, mali nitakuwa kwa nyumba leo. It's you, ni wewe nitakuwa nakukumbuka. I would never have imagined. Looking at you, you're the last person I would suspect atatoroka.
Ati unaweza fanya hivyo. Na kwanza unakimbizana na mimi. You can see I'm following
and
you.
And you have guts, chick. That's what he told me. And you have guts.
Sure.
Nikamwambia ni Nairobi.
Lazima tupambane.
You have to toughen up.
You try and do what you got to do. Lakini ni sawa umenikamata. Nimekubali.
Yeah,
umenikamata tu.
Yeah, so when I gave out that story, it went viral.
I can imagine the guys listening wanacheka wanaisha. What did you do?
Wengine,
right.
They're like, no, this is not a lady cab driver. She's not. Uyu si cab driver. So they kept asking for more and more and more, and I was like, you know what? I think I found my niche.
That story is funny. Why?
I was like, okay, I think I found my niche.
Yep.
I'll just be giving people stories.
Your experiences.
My experiences. Everything that I go through on a daily basis.
And there's no day that is
in my line of work. Yes.
Right. Wow. Oh my goodness. So ukaanza kupata story man.
Nikaanza kupata story. That is how my following slowly, I started gaining a lot of following.
Right.
And as much as I'm giving stories,
my
my followers, they're slowly turning into clients.
Hold on a second.
Imagine I did.
Wow.
I did.
I can't imagine you being...
I know. No one would have expected.
And deliberately trying to run away.
Yes.
And you won't do this.
Mm-hmm.
When he can.
Yeah, so with time, I realized as much as I was entertaining people, sharing stories.
And these are real life stories.
Yes.
Real experiences.
Also marketing myself and what I do. So my followers slowly grew into clients. Unaleta ni wasoro wa TikTok. Kuja unichukue unipeleke nini? Kuja unichukue. It got to a point where I rarely use the apps now. I was fully concentrating on clients I'm getting from TikTok.
Which was solving the problem of the commercials you had talked about earlier.
Exactly.
Right.
But now, the challenges that I was having for the airport clients, unapata, they have a lot of luggage, ama they come as family. My car was small. So as much as they want to give me work, they're quite uncomfortable because they're squeezing with the luggage.
Right.
So I not like yet figured out a way I can, be able to handle that. So
but that's interesting, Jenny. Two things happened then there for them.
Yeah.
Number one, you turned your passion into a profitable vocation.
Yes.
Number two, you turned your fans
into
your clients.
Yeah.
And many times, I guess that's part of the biggest challenges people have. How do I turn my passion into profit? And in your case also, what work on my followers on social media, but our social media followers, it then translate into brilliant stuff, man. Brilliant stuff.
So that is what happened.
That's how then you turned your passion into profit.
Yes.
And turned your fans into
clients.
So now we are on problem number 3. Gari ni ndogo. Ni Suzuki Swift.
So I'm there trying to figure out.
How do I solve this one?
How do I solve this thing?
So that means a lot of your clients were more guys were coming in, checking through the airport.
Yeah. Or maybe I would get clients that would want, would want to be carried, maybe 4 or 5 family members, 4 or 5. And my kaka was quite small.
Right.
And it would, bother me in within. How do I handle this thing?
Right. My clients wamekukubali.
Yes, wamenikubali. Na hata wakijisqueeze wako tu bora tumebebwa na Kairetu Jenny.
That's all that matters.
Yes. I used to meet people, the first thing they would do is hug me and tell me, "Guy, you're bold."
They just love your boldness.
Yeah, they just love my boldness and what I do and the fact that I'm passionate about what I'm doing.
Correct.
And the fact that, so many ladies at this moment, they're used to being given the soft life. They don't want to hustle, they don't want to work hard.
Right.
So it has become like a normalcy to just see a person who wants to hustle.
Right.
legitimately.
Right.
Yeah, so that intrigued a
And putting
lot of
yourself
people.
out there.
Yes.
Because you
Willing
have
to
actually
hustle.
pushed yourself
Yes,
out there.
Yes.
Right.
So one time as I'm just seated in my car, I get a call. It's one of my TikTok fans.
Right.
They're like, Kairetu, how are you? There's a post you did about, if I ever need, a personal driver, you can refer me to one. So do you have one in mind?
Right.
I referred them to one,
Yep.
and they told me, I work at a certain bank.
Right.
And how can the bank help you
Right.
to just support your hustle?
Right. Because we can see.
We can see you are, hardworking.
Right.
You're determined.
Right.
You have,
You're focused on this
yeah,
thing.
you're focused on this thing.
All you need is a little support.
Yes, just a little support.
Right.
And I told the person, I've always wanted to, get a bigger car because I'm having some big challenge, carrying a lot of luggages or maybe carrying a lot of people. And they're like, just come to the bank, open an account. This is what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Do your part.
Right.
The bank is going to
It's going to do its
their
part.
part.
Right.
Do you know, 3 months later after that call, I got my 7-seater.
Wow. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Good stuff.
That's how I got my 7-seater.
And we began to solve the initial problem.
And I began to solve the initial problem.
Now your clients are more
I have
comfortable.
my clientele. Not a constant clientele, but at least I have a clientele. I'm assured that I won't, sleep hungry.
Right.
But at the same time came in the fear, will the clientele be able to sustain, my day to day, I'm servicing alone and everything. So I did a video
Right.
saying of how, I'm here, yes, I have this car, but I'm scared as hell.
Right.
I don't want the bank telling me, Jenny, hujalipa loan, we're going to take that car back. I just did a video just speaking of my fears.
You're just being real.
Yeah, I'm just being real.
Right.
I'm scared as hell.
Yep. I've sorted one problem
Yes,
out,
yes.
but I may have introduced another one.
Yes.
And I don't know whether I'm going to pay this loan.
From that video, I remember because after I took the vehicle, the first week was a bit dormant. Maybe once in a while, maybe calls, 1-2 calls. After I did that video, I got 10 calls, work related.
Wow.
Jenny, I want you to pick me here. I want you to take me out of Nairobi.
Wow.
I want you to.
Wow. Clients coming through.
It brought me clients.
They responded to your
They
video.
responded to my video.
Wow.
And that is how I sailed through the first month comfortably without too much hassle.
And you could easily pay your loan.
Yes.
But you see, Jenny, man, you chose the path of just being real.
Yeah.
Social media has a lot of fake stuff.
A lot of fake stuff.
In fact, people crash on social media while looking strong.
Yeah.
And you can never tell that there is an issue because
Yeah.
there's always this face we put
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
That's very different from the realities that we are in. And this is you just saying,
Yeah.
man, I just want to be as real and as authentic, man.
Yeah.
Yep, I've gotten a better car, but clients, if you don't come through, we're going to have a problem
Yes,
somewhere.
we're going to have a problem. And before I got that car, I had already registered my own company. Even without the hopes of knowing where I'm going to get a bigger car. I just went, registered a company. And I don't know somehow, I just knew some things are going to work out.
By faith.
I registered Habibi Taxis.
Right,
So as the car came in, the company was already registered.
right. Found you ready.
Yes.
But I love your boldness, Faith. I love your boldness, man. You're a bold girl.
Yeah. So
Habibi.
Habibi Taxis.
And you are the CEO and founder of
I'm the
Habibi
CEO and
Taxis.
founder of Habibi Taxis. But as I was sailing through,
Man, I can't
the
believe all
first
this
month-
Toro is a 2-year Toro, man.
Imagine,
So much has happened within the last 2
a
years.
lot has transitioned within those 2 years.
Just within 2 years.
Yeah.
Keep going, man. So the car comes through.
So the car comes through. I already have Habibi Taxis.
Right.
And once I told people about Habibi taxis, I received calls from people. I have this car, I have a 7-seater. How can I join your fleet? People who just believed in me without even having gotten there yet.
Yep.
And I was like, wait, if they can believe in me that much,
You'd better believe in you.
I better believe in me and do something about it.
Well, folks, I hope you're listening, man. This whole story, we are not outside the 2 years window. From just having clothes to your name, you can see where we are, man. Just before you quit, I told you, give us a chance and listen to this conversation, because you cannot quit on you. You cannot give on you. Man, we have a real life story in just a short space of time. From just having clothes only. Man, we are on a 7-seater. It's probably the second car. CEO and founder of Habibi Taxis, man.
Yeah.
And here we're going.
Yeah.
And so we keep it going.
So I'm slowly getting in more vehicles on board, but
And guys are just calling.
they're just calling.
We want to be part of Habibi.
Kairetu, I want to be part of Habibi.
Can I bring my
How
car?
do I sign up?
Right.
So with time, I realized I'm getting overwhelmed with clients, because sometimes I would find a client needs me today. I still get another call from another client. I was like, this is the high time I give out this job boost to the people who believed in me in my fleet.
Right. The people who kept
Yeah,
calling.
so whenever I would get something extra, I would give out.
Right.
And that is how it has been.
Man, I'm loving how your story is evolving. I'm just loving what I'm hearing, man. It's absolutely inspiring.
Yeah.
You know, in a dark hole, it's easy to give up. It is easy to quit.
And remember, I contemplated suicide.
You did.
I did.
Like, seriously?
Yes. When I lost my savings and I didn't know the way forward.
To the pyramid scheme.
Yes.
Right.
I stepped out of the house that day. I was on the road. I was contemplating suicide. I kept having this inner thing telling me, Jenny, push yourself on the road and just be jolted by a car. Because how do you move on from here? Where do you even start?
You actually wanted to take your life.
I wanted to take my life.
And you walk out of the house
I did.
contemplating to go get
Yes. For a good 10 minutes, I was there trying to figure out how I'll do it.
hit. No way.
I'm not lying, Dennis.
Like, all you want is when a car is coming, you throw yourself
Yes.
in. You are at that point.
I was at that point, but something deep, I could remember, go through, run over my conversation with my daughters, and I was like, this will be selfish of me. They love me for who I am,
Irrespective.
irrespective the situation I'm in. Why would I let them down?
All they wanted was you.
That is the only thing that got me out of that road. I just remembered my daughter's conversation. Mommy, it doesn't matter where you are or how poor you get. Those are the words she used.
Oh, no.
We love you just as you are. We don't care.
And you're standing by the road, 10 minutes, having a debate in your mind. Do I, don't I?
Yes. I didn't know where to start, how to move on from there.
Everything has collapsed.
Everything has just gone haywire.
Anything that could go wrong had already gone wrong.
It had already gone wrong. What else was left of me?
You're trying to project into the future. There is nothing you see in it.
Yeah. And let me tell you, the smallest of things sometimes can be the thing that keeps us pushing. When I downloaded Tinder and I matched with that guy, looking forward to that, I didn't even know that he was going to give me the job. Just knowing I'm going to meet someone, that's a small thing.
It
might mean nothing, but
it meant everything to you at that point.
It meant everything to me at that point.
Just going to hook up with this guy.
Yes, just going to date, having a conversation with this person.
Just talk about anything,
Yes.
everything, whatever.
That like a small thing.
Just that one.
And you can see what arose from that conversation.
They almost become like destiny connectors at some point.
Yes.
They connect
yes.
one dot to the next.
I'm telling you. Yeah.
Create a bridge. And here we are.
Yeah.
So the thing that stopped you from crossing and jumping into the road was your daughter's voice.